I got excited, very excited to see all of this.
All right, you guys, you ready? You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
All right, check this out. This is so like months ago. When was this? July 15th. July 15th, The Hollywood Reporter, which reports on all things H Wood. They put out this thing, and it says Chris Kattan, known for his career in comedy and for starring on Saturday Night Live. And then in your head, you go, oh, God, he's dead. Oh, no. Oh, no. But it's actually way, way worse. It says it's set to launch his debut podcast.
Oof.
It's like a totally different kind of funeral. When an SNL star starts his podcast nowadays, you know, it's like, they have nothing. It's over. And what it always means is some company has like reached out, some podcasting, you know, they've got these, I don't even know what you call them. They're not networks, really. It's not like a podcast network. It's like these just multimedia companies that buy up, washed up has-been losers. They basically purchase them as a person and go, okay, make a podcast for us. And then the person goes, what a podcast? They've never heard of a podcast. This is a guy that was like famous in the 90s, you know? And so they force these old washed up comedians and celebrities to have a podcast. The scariest part is half the time it's a podcast about the show they used to be on. So they're just like reliving their own glory day. It's like a fan podcast for their own work. It's one of the sickest things ever. Now Chris Kattan is doing that. A lot of these SNL people, they're just going, hey, remember SNL? And all the kids are going, no. But I don't know. A lot of them get views. You know, have you guys ever seen the Dana Carvey and David Spade podcast? I can't remember what it's called, but this is big on YouTube. Like I get recommended this all the time. I'm the only one who's seen this. It's like okay. It's got I can't remember what it's called, but like it gets a lot of views, and it's like all right. I've listened to it a few times. It's all right, but it's mostly horrifying to listen to. It's like cringe-inducing. It's just remember when, stuck culture garbage. Now, of course, we've been.
I was gonna reach out to you, Jesse, and start up a podcast on our network that basically you just relive your old episodes where you just watch them back and comment on them.
I like where your head's
That's
at.
what I want you on it. Yeah, that's what I want you to do.
I am going to start doing that. So Pod Awful from here on out will be us covering old episodes of Pod Awful. So we've been covering Kattan now for a while. We went to his house. We've been hunting him, trying to figure out. He's a cryptid that we've been. The bit has been that he is so disgusting as a corporeal being that we've decided
Chris Kattan, known for his deformed,
misshapen body. We've decided he's a monster mash more than he is a man. You know, he's now more monster than man. And so that's been the bit this whole time. But now he's got a podcast. This is going to be tough. I guess we got to drop that bit now because he's going to be talking instead of us just looking at his human body. So, I mean, look at him,
he
though.
He does still have like a goblinoid voice. So.
Look at this.
Yeah, he does.
Tell me this isn't
like seeing Bigfoot unblurred.
Tell me this isn't a death announcement, though. I mean, isn't this?
It does look like one, yeah.
This is wildly fucked up. I just realized we're in the wrong channel. We're gonna have to move to Watch Party when the Pizza Fun thing begins. But anyway, he looks bizarrely fucked up. Everybody reading this thought, oh, he's dead. They didn't even read the second half of it. It's way worse than dead. Way worse than dead is starting a podcast in the year 2024. He's doing it, and guess what? He's trying to be the Dana Carvey, David Spade pot. He thought that he could do that. And it is. So I've been wanting to cover this now because I think it came out a month ago. And here, I know what you're thinking. What's it called? Jesse, what's the name of it? Well, here's the trailer for the show to tell you.
Hey, Chris, we heard you're doing a new podcast. What are you going to call it?
I was thinking Idiotically Speaking with Chris Kattan. Huh?
Chris, no, that's a terrible name, man.
Ouch.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, Joey and I came up with some new names for you that we think are a lot better.
We have some ideas.
You have new names, better.
Check this out. Nighttime Moments with Chris Kattan.
No.
Okay, I got one. Chris Kattan Can podcast.
No.
Chris Kattan's verbal back rub.
That's disgusting.
Kick the Kattan podcast.
Kick the Kattan podcast. That's ridiculous.
Katanning Booth with Chris Kattan.
No.
Just to be clear, yes, this is going to keep going. And I am going to keep playing it.
Oh, that's not funny. No.
What do you say, Kattan podcast?
Why do they all sound like they're on helium?
Okay, how about Idiotically Speaking?
That is an interesting. Why do they all sound like they're on helium? So he's been paired up with these other two guys. We're going to get into the other two guys and all this stuff in a second, but
I was trying to work out if it was just him talking to himself.
Yeah.
That's I was legitimately just wondering if that was the bit that he was interviewing himself or something. I wasn't sure.
I have a theory on all of this. It's psycho what's going on, but I think the other two. So he's got two co-hosts. As a matter of fact, you can see all right. Whenever you see this on anything, whenever you see a podcast that has this type of album art, where it's this little vector drawing making everyone look like a friendly little globo homo cartoon character. It's nothing really going on with it so much. There's nothing really happening. It's not that bad. This run. You see this run. It's the worst podcast you're ever going to hear. And it is because it's Idiotically Speaking with Chris Kattan.
That picture does not capture Kattan at all.
It doesn't capture any. There's no. You would have to be man. Your name would have to be man in order for this type of vector art to ever look like you. All right. So there need to be two things happening. Now, Chris Kattan, in our minds, obviously, is like so horrifically, demented looking that he should be kind of easy to draw. There's like a lot going on, but really his face, there's not. It's kind of pointy, but that's it. There's not a lot going on. For a caricature artist, if you're just man, it's really hard to draw you. There's some people
they should have included his shoulders, like his hunched shoulders in his particular one.
And his hands, his knurled hands and claws, his rat-like tail, the bony protrusions that come out of his spine, all of that should be. And by the way, wouldn't you click on that podcast? Wouldn't you watch that?
Probably, yeah.
That's a podcast you want to see. But then you've got man, and then you've got man. They're all hosting the show. And so you've run into this problem where you've got the worst type of guy to be, the undrawable, meeting the worst type of art there is, which is like the clean line, vector line art. So yeah, this doesn't look like any of them. Wait until you see the other two guys. We've got the other two guys, okay?
I know that the guy on the right is definitely a fat guy.
It's
the guy on the right is definitely a fat guy because it's the nicest way to draw a fat guy.
You give him you just give him a big goober down here. You get his little goober. I'm gonna get you goober. See, what they didn't do, if they were real about it, there would be one more little curly line here.
Yep.
And that would be his actual chin, and then you would know that's his boss ass neck sack underneath.
the one that wobbles.
They could have at least given him some lovely rosy cheeks or something.
You can't do rosy because it's all two colored, So there's a lot they could have done here, but there's entire podcast, I don't know, networks or whatever, where all of the podcasts, this is what they look like. This is actually kind of old podcast stuff. We're kind of going back to our roots, like really just mocking a podcast here. Now, the problem is, I haven't played this for you guys yet. We haven't done the episode on this yet because there were no videos for it. And so, PodAwful's now a very visual show, so it seemed kind of silly just doing audio only. I'm just sitting here staring at you
with Chris Kattan.
While I play this garbage.
Now that's what
By the way, remember this trailer.
talking about.
Be sure to follow, rate, and review Idiotically Speaking with
They hadn't put out any episodes. Like, be sure to follow, rate, and review. It's like, you don't have a show. And by the way, if this is your show, if this is like the nice little, taster's platter we're going to get of what's going to go on your show, you don't want to ask people to rate this yet. I notice they've only got, this is insane. They have 20 ratings. Now, I will say this. It's a 5 out of 5 star, 20 ratings. Although a lot of the ratings mention one of those two unknown co-hosts. They mention his name, which makes me think it's that guy. I legitimately believe that multiple reviews out of these 20 are actually the guy on the show. So there's been no...
And his parents and his auntie.
Yeah.
And,
well, he's logging in.
And the victims he has tied up in his basement.
He's logging into their accounts, to be fair. But there has been no video, so I didn't do the episode. I was waiting for them to put out video. They are filming stuff, but they don't have a YouTube channel. They're not putting it out yet. So I was trying to figure that out. And then today, Chris Kattan appeared as a guest on another podcast. This podcast is called, what is this called? Take Your Shoes Off by Rick Glassman. Now this...
No, thank you.
Which, by the way, no thank you. I've seen this Glassman character on several other... I've never seen his show, but I've seen him on several other podcasts as a guest, and he's one of these cutesy guys, He's like, he thinks he's precious. Every joke he's doing is so precious. He thinks he's the most...
He's fat and black?
No, well, he would love that you said... He would then film himself running with a bucket of chicken because you made that joke, Corey. Like, he would love that joke. No, he is Mr. Cutesy. He is the cleverest little boy in the room, and he's hopped up on goofballs. He's like, all of these guys in this sort of realm of podcasting, they're all hopelessly addicted to Vyvanse. So let's take a look. What happens when, literally the world's worst new podcaster meets the worst old podcaster? This is, because this guy, Glassman, has been doing his podcast. I couldn't believe this. I saw one. I thought it said he started it 7 years ago. I don't know if that's right or not, but he's been doing it for a while. So let's take a look. All right, here he comes. By the way, Kattan, you ready? Oh yeah. And by the way, pay your dog tax. Oh, what a cute woofer, Pupperino, boop the snoot, Reddit. Wow, you win the internet today, Glassman. They always have the dog tax. Daniel Tosh, Steven Crowder, Glassman. Who else? They've always got the dog as that's their little mascot.
And they acknowledge it. They acknowledge it throughout the podcast.
Acknowledge it. You're going to be lucky if the dog's not licking the microphone in between the man speaking and the mic. These are freaks. So look, I've got a dog. Do you see him? No. You know why? Because I abuse the dog. So, and it's not Jasper. People keep asking me about Jasper. By the way, they're like, what happened to Jasper? He died.
Yeah, he's gone.
I backed over him.
Natural causes?
No, I backed over him with a car, and I didn't think twice. We just got a brand new dog. Who cares? Yeah. And I've never introduced you to him. It's not the fact that you ever knew about him made me so upset that there's a part of me that wonders if maybe I backed over Jasper on purpose. Like I felt so bad.
Did you just call the new dog Jasper just to replace him?
It's the same.
Jasper
Yeah,
2.
it's the same breed.
No, not Jasper 2, just Jasper.
Just Jasper.
Just stays Jasper.
No, it's the exact same breed. We just got a brand new Jasper. That's it. And it doesn't matter. Who cares? All right, anyway. So he's got a dog. He's got, he's got all his cool, he's got his stuff.
Basketball.
I'm a Mr. Bass. I'm a white guy basketball guy.
You can't.
Oh God! Oh God! Whoa! So the first thing I saw was, hang on, did you notice him in the mirror before you could even see him fully corporeally? All right, this is Glassman here. And then he goes to get Kattan. And then watch the mirror in the background. Ooh! That is a haunting image.
Very Kattan wants to eat the dog. Kattan just wants to eat that dog.
All right, how do you explain?
I'm just surprised his wife's not behind him peeking.
How do you explain this? All right, he's not in front of the mirror, but he's like a reverse vampire. He's reflecting before he's even in the shot, even in the room. That shouldn't be possible. This is a creepazoid.
He was in the mirror realm first.
Oh God!
You got to bring him to life through the
mirror. Did you see him lumber? He's shambling.
Oh my God!
He's completely bonky bonk. Is one leg longer than the other? What is happening?
Look at his back humps.
Oh my God!
Hunchback.
Check out the stretch.
Me, he's not covered in goo beneath those.
How his shirt is stretched at the front.
Holy!
He looks really bloated.
Oh my God! So, all right, I've got a theory. We're gonna watch all of this, by the way.
Is that couch oversized? Why is he so puny?
All right, check it out. Everybody, shut up. Listen to this next part. Listen to this. I'm glad you asked that. Listen to this.
So it's a deep couch. Some people.
It's a deep couch. Now, here's the craziest part. All right. Now, by the way, I have not watched this. I've only seen the first 4 minutes of this. And Glassman tells Kattan, I'm like such a huge, like, you're my inspiration, which can't possibly be true. How is that? There's no world where a guy is like, you know who my guy is? Kattan. Like, the only person that could be true of is, him from the Powerpuff Girls, or some sort of Spider-Man villain who's made of lizards or something. Like, there's nobody has ever seen Kattan and been like, one day, man, when I grow down, I want to be Kattan. So
Doug Jones.
I think, maybe Doug Jones. I think maybe what's happening, even though he says that Kattan's his hero, I'm going to guess that this entire interview goes haywire, like it's a real disaster. Because, I mean, you can see the look on Kattan's face here. Hang on a second. He's not ready for this.
He's not.
Look at him.
Alive.
I don't think he knew that he was coming to a show where he would be filmed. I don't think he was
not ready for anything.
I don't think he knew cameras. Is this really blurry for you guys? What is that? Is this my eyes, or is this extremely blurry behind me here? Hang on a second. Let me just make sure that we are nice and in. Are we in focus? Is that good? All right.
It looks good. Yeah, it's good.
Sorry. Every time I look at, Kattan is like a poltergeist, where he kind of affects the digital realms around him. You can't really take a photo directly of him. He doesn't show up in photography. Anyway, the point is, I don't think he knows he was coming to a thing that's like a 5-camera shoot. I think he's like, oh my God, they're going to see me. And this is going to throw him off for the whole interview. And then I think Glassman must pick up on that. The interview goes haywire. This is all theory. We're going to see what happens. And in the end, I think, when it's edited after the fact, he's cutting this for comedy. So watch this again. So he cuts to the, it's punched in on him. That's the same camera, just punched in. And now he's punched it out to this wide shot that makes Kattan so tiny on the couch. He's already the littlest man. And then he goes, oh, it's a deep couch. as if to explain to his audience why they're having to see this, why they're seeing, a tiny little, baby Yukon couch potato.
Well, he's obviously framed the shot for an average person, so his head should be in the middle of the shot.
A normal person's head would be right here while sitting down. Oh,
But he's really that short.
This is Kattan in Wonderland. He's shrunken down.
All right, hang on a second.
Taking a potion or something.
Hang on a second. Corey, you saw Kattan in real life. How does he measure up?
Pretty small, short little man.
And you're a
guy.
And you're a tiny little guy yourself.
No,
so that's really
I'm not.
well.
No.
How tall are you? 5'4", 5'8"?
5'10".
5'10". Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. He's 6 chain wallets high.
What would you say Kattan was when you when you were hunting him?
Probably 5'4", 5'3", something like that.
How clean was his pelt? Like, what do you think it would go well on the market, or like if you were trading?
It is a cryptid pelt. It's a rare, so.
I mean, if you're trading with serious guys, we're talking like French Canadian fur trappers or something. How much they pay?
I think I could get a fat stack.
A hefty one. All right. So
How much would individual quills be worth?
Yeah.
So it's a deep couch.
Do you reckon that couch is actually like it's turnable into it turns into a bed, and that's actually his bed?
That's where the guys. This is where Glassman sleeps at night. Which, by the way, let's be fair here. I've been in dire straits situations before where absolutely the couch people sat on for Pod Awful, I was sleeping on that couch 100%. Glassman. He just likes it. He conceptually, he makes a lot of money. This is a big podcast. He chooses to sleep in the same filth that Kattan leaves behind. He brings on all these comedy guys, and he thinks he's like absorbing some of their powers. All right, let's watch this.
People want another pillow for back support. You want me to get you something?
Yeah, maybe another pillow.
I've never seen another episode of this show, but I guarantee you he has never once started off by going, do you want like 5 more pillows to like build you up higher, make sure that people can see you? Because I'm worried about my camera right now. I don't think the tripod will go any lower.
He needs a phone book.
I was just going to say, take some of those books off the bedside table.
You want me to ask the waitress for a booster seat or something?
Yeah, I mean, they could have hidden it in that cover that they have on the couch.
Look at this. He says, yeah, I'll take a pillow, and he brings 3. He's like, here's everything. Here's everything in the apartment.
Why is this even in this? This should not be.
It's in this because, again, this is like one of these precious twee sort of guys. So he just like for no reason he
was that just a cut?
He popped that in.
Yeah. He comped it in. Look, he gets. Oh, you want some water? Yeah. And so he goes, boop, and then that, like, why? Why any of this?
Showing how much of a good guest host.
No, he thinks he's clever doing shit like this. Like, that's all it is. I'm telling you, this is like a disgusting combination. Chris Kattan had no business doing a podcast, and this other guy who's like trying every little thing to make you think he's the cleverest guy doing a podcast. Oh, God! Okay, anyway. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jump scare.
All right, so here the episode officially begins. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where our episode officially begins. This is Pod Awful.
Guessing what's next and what could happen to these boys.
We need a Kattan couch gag. We need something for the intro there. I don't have any Kattan stuff. Welcome, everybody. Pod Awful TV Super Show. I'm your host, Jesse P.S. With me are the henchmen.
Rest in peace, Wanda and Ray.
Oh, she's still in the. You can't run, Wanda. You're still in the theme song. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the moon base. We got.
What was that?
Yeah, go ahead. Fine. In my intro?
My
sure.
apologies.
No, Urquit. Do it.
I was watching the live stream and I saw that there was fucking video game footage. What? I've never seen that before.
You've never seen video game footage?
You've never seen how did you even know it was a video game?
Okay.
How did you
It's
know?
the AG Luck clip.
How did you know it was
I'm
a
sorry.
video game if you've never seen video game footage before? How do you
I've
even
never
know what a
seen
video
that
game
before.
looks like? How did you know that it wasn't like a Korean news show trying to explain a murder?
He just thought it was real life.
Yeah, dude, it was just photorealistic.
Here's what I'm glad. I'm glad that you interrupted my intro to ask such a stupid question.
My apologies.
The henchman, ladies and gentlemen. Your favorite part of the
I
show.
apologize to everyone.
Your
Live studio
favorite
audience.
part of the show, the henchman.
Imagine if TV programs just had the live studio audience piping into the, just talking to the host throughout.
Yes,
the show.
yes. That's a peanut gallery, man. This is not a new concept. It's the peanut gallery. This is the thing. We're doing it, okay? I like it.
I'm sorry. I thought we just had a dancing clowns.
Urquit, fucking enough, bro. Jesus Christ. I agree with the people who hate you guys now. Urquit.
Can we
You're
called the
killing.
penis
Hey,
gallery?
Bob. You're great. I love you, Bob. But I'm in the middle of screaming at Urquit right now. Okay? We got a lot more Kattan coming up, and we're really going to have to pull it together here if we're going to get through any of it, because this is a Pizza Fund only episode. So stick around, because you're going to wonder what's happening with these boys. Or so, I don't know. Anyway, Pizza Fund only episode. If you want to see the full version of this episode, join the Pizza Fund. PodAwful.pizza. We've got more preview for you, but join the Pizza Fund. PodAwful.pizza. Primo
Support the show. Join the Pizza Fund.
After shows.
PodAwful.pizza.
Pizza.
Don't forget all the old crap, Jesse.
PodAwful.pizza.
The archives. World War.
And more.
And according to that thing right there, also and much more. I don't think that's true, actually, though. There's much more. Anyway, so
Less, in fact. Less, yeah.
well, there's more of this episode. So if you want to see this full episode, join the Pizza Fund, PodAwful.pizza. You know, what are you going to do? It's either this or Glassman. I don't think Kattan is even stupid enough to have an option where you can sign up for a subscription yet for his show. He does run ads, though. They've got ads. They've got sponsors, and I can't believe it. I can't believe somebody agreed to that. There must be some CEO out there, some ad exec going, you're running this on what now? They're hearing this back and freaking out about it. But yeah, we got plenty of time. We got lots to go through here. So I guess what did you want, Bob? You wanted to say something a second ago. And now
It's unimportant, but I do wonder if one of his sponsors is the $1 Wooden Steak Club instead of the $1 Shave Club.
I love it. That was great. We love Bob. Bob Sphincter, everybody. Listen,
That's two
Urquit.
Bobs for Urquit. Yeah,
Exactly. Urquit, take him or leave. We can flush him down the goo tube any minute now. It doesn't bother me none. We did lose Wanda and Ray. We don't know what's going on. We're all concerned. I'm going to assume that they're going to listen to this. Everybody's freaking out right now. I spoke to them. No, I haven't told anybody this. I personally spoke to them. They told me that it was Boat's fault. And I don't know if that's true or I don't know what was going on, but we lost them. We're hoping they're coming back. Something's going on, something terrible. It's a family annihilation sort of situation going on in that scenario.
Can I say I didn't even notice that they were gone? I mean, I just didn't even know.
Same.
You're barely ever here, Scott.
I'm here all the time.
You're barely ever here, she says. Okay.
Ever.
I heard what I heard. Now, okay, so here's the thing. Kattan. Idiotically Speaking. That's the podcast. Been waiting to cover this forever. Now, I did say they don't have any video stuff. Here's the crazy thing about it. They do have video stuff. They don't have a YouTube channel. They don't put out full episodes, video on Spotify or anything else. By the way, the company that bought them up is Podcast One, which I assume is run by Asian people, like Chinese people. It's named the same way you name a Chinese restaurant.
Podcast One, Tom?
Podcast number one, a number one super podcast.
Yeah. And
I had
owned by Tencent or something.
I had
number one channel.
My old
time.
roommate Tom. My old roommate Tom lived in China for a while, speaks fluent Chinese basically. And we were talking about this because we ordered Chinese food a lot. We were talking about this one time, and he said, like, I know it sounds crazy. And this is, again, I've talked about this before. If you're Chinese, there's something like, it's not the same being Chinese as being just a normal guy. Okay? Now, what I mean by that, to them, that is a normal guy, right? Like, I'm not saying it's not worse or better or anything like that. Don't get me wrong here. But, I'm like a normal guy. You guys are normal guys. And then if you're out there having Chinese thoughts, you're having bizarre, dookie deaky kinds of things going on in your head that don't make sense to us. And that's where, there's this cultural divide, this clash. And why a lot of Americans, a lot of Westerners believe that China is out to get them. And I think if we understood this one simple fact, we could get along and heal the world and create a racial unity between the two strongest races, normal and Chinese. Are we still on YouTube? Should I be doing this part right now? This part, as if this is planned. So I'm talking to Tom, and I say to him, what is with the Chinese restaurants? They're all named like super number one. Chinese, number one, top China, number one Chinese restaurant. And he said, what's crazy? In China, I had a girlfriend that told me this too, who also lived in China. In China, they name everything that way. So, like, actually, the girlfriend told me she was working at a school in China, and she worked at a school called, she had a Chinese friend who worked at one school, and she worked at another school in China. And one of them was called, like, China's best golden school, right? And then the other one worked at even more golden number one Chinese school. I'm not joking. Like, that was a real thing where they both, like, they were competing with each other, and everything in China is trying to be the
chain of English
top
schools.
dog of Chinese restaurants and Chinese school. Every single thing is called that. And apparently, if you have Chinese thoughts inside your head, that works. Like, to a normal guy like you or me, regular sort of people, we hear that and we go, oh, they're just saying that. It doesn't mean it. But I guess in Chinese, when you have Chinese head, you go like, oh my God, they say they're the number, they can't be lying. I guess it's the best. I got to go to the best school. And then you fucking imagine you go enroll to number one golden Chinese school, and then you fucking find out later about even more number one or goldener Chinese. You're going to be pretty fucking pissed at that point because you believe it. So this is a real thing. Why are we talking about this? Hello?
Well, we evolved past this point. We used to do it in Western culture. We used to do it in Western culture, though. We used to have the best hot dogs in your local town. And like, there would be that one place that used to do it, but we evolved past that. The Chinese never evolved past.
Nobody ever believed it. Nobody ever believed that in a normal human society. That's like termite.
You're telling me that they didn't. You told me they didn't have the best burgers in, I don't know, in buttfuck nowhere.
We have it like Pabst Blue
I'm not
Ribbon,
from
the
buttfuck.
award-winning beer.
You might be from buttfuck, Scott. In fact, I believe you are, but I'm not from buttfuck, so I don't know. I could not only have I never been to buttfuck, and I'm not from buttfuck. I would never try the burgers, even if they were the #1 burgers in buttfuck.
They're the best burgers.
The burgers, baby.
It really doesn't matter. You couldn't even pay me to eat the #1 burger from buttfuck.
Booty burger.
#1 burger from buttfuck or any other burger.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick any other burger almost every time. Almost every time. There is one scenario where I wouldn't. So, all right. So, podcast one. So, podcast one, they became a company. Like I had been doing a podcast for, I want to say, 20 years before podcast one came around. And they made their company, and they're like, we make podcasts. I guess we're like the first. And so they just call themselves, they might as well have just called themselves Podcast at that point. Like, that's the gall they had. These guys own tons and tons of the podcasts that you've heard of, you've seen, you've listened to. And they also own this. They also own Kattan's podcast, and they're running the show over there.
If you're collecting beasts, I mean, I feel like Kattan's probably one of the best ones to collect, to have in your arsenal, you know what I mean?
Beast #1.
All right, don't talk about putting things in my arsenal from buttfuck. This is very buttfuckian of you. All right. So if you go to Chris Kattan, I've been following Chris Kattan on Instagram now for a while. And if you go to his Instagram, you can find videos from the show. So they are, they're doing interviews with SNL people. This is just SNL Member Berries, the podcast. And they're doing interviews with these guys over Zoom. So it's being recorded on video. And the only thing they're releasing are these like 5-second little videos from it. His first guest was Fred Armisen. It stinks. His second guest was Cecily Strong. Do I even need to say it? Then he gets Dana Carvey on, because Dana Carvey's show with David Spade that we were talking about before, they had on Chris as a guest. Now, I've never heard that episode. Maybe we should deep dive that episode one day. It's an old episode.
You tell me that's not David Spade on camera
it's
right now?
Actually, both. They combined when they did a fusion dance when they did their podcast. Now, Dana Carvey goes on. I'm sure that episode is fine, because Dana Carvey is very funny. It probably carries the whole thing. But here's what I love. Then he has on Chris Parnell. And many of you are probably going, now,
Dr. Switchemin.
For me,
Rick and Morty.
For me, now Chris Parnell is fine. He's a great voice actor. He's on a lot of shows. He does the voices. You've heard him before. It's just his voice. He's just always doing his voice. He's the dad from Rick and Morty. He's somebody on Archer or something.
One eyeball guy on Fallout.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Fallout TV, which, by the way, PODAWFUL, we like the Fallout TV show. I got asked, what do you like, Jesse? You know?
Does Jesse like it? Yeah, bring that back.
Does Jesse like it? I don't have the thing, but I would love to play that right now. Does Jesse like it? I got asked, well, what do you like? You hate everything. What do you like? I liked the Fallout TV show.
It was a good
Sorry,
show.
I don't play video games, so it doesn't upset me if the lore is off or the costume's the wrong color blue.
You should give the Borderlands movie a shot.
I'll tell you another thing I liked. This is going to floor you. The Cowboy Bebop live action Netflix series. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I liked it.
Funny.
Same.
And it too.
You know what? It was good. In fact, how about I throw this one at you? It was better than the anime. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And guess what? The Fallout TV show, that's better than the video games. All of them. Even that one that you like the most. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I've never played any of them. I don't even know what you do.
What about the Halo TV show?
I literally don't even know what you do in Fallout, what any of that is. But anyway, Chris Parnell, this guy right here. what about the Halo TV show? Is that something I'm really supposed to answer? I'll answer that. I've never seen it.
What about the Acolyte?
Shut up. All right. So Chris Parnell was on that. Yeah, he had like one of the craziest, freakiest characters on that show where they didn't know how to do the effect of making him a cycloptic sort of guy. And he's, again, just playing Chris Parnell. That's all he ever plays on anything when he's just the voice. But I think he's always fine in all these roles. But when he was on SNL, I hated him. And Chris Parnell, he overlapped with Chris Kattan. Both of the Chris's were on at the same time. Chris Parnell, I felt so justified when I was a kid. You know, I was big into SNL as a kid. I watched them all. And I'm not one of those like, oh, you know, I've got the guys I started watching with, that's my season. And then I never liked anything before or after that. There's a big span of SNL that was really good. That overlaps multiple casts. I was into the one from the late 80s, early 90s, the hits of today. And I was into all of them until, you know, very, very recently, basically. I haven't watched SNL in years. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I watched, you know, when Kevin Nealon was the anchor, when Dennis Miller was the anchor before that. Norm Macdonald was always my favorite Weekend Update anchor. I hated Colin Quinn. That fucking don't stink. Colin Quinn don't fucking stinks. I didn't even know what Opie and Anthony was, but I should have known then that I would hate anything he was ever involved with. Colin Quinn was the worst. The guy can't talk. He couldn't read. They put a guy on a show where they're reading cue cards live. He can't read. He's like flubbing every single joke. That guy stunk. Anyway. So I'm not like particular to any of these casts or anything. A lot of people are like that. I thought that when Chris Kattan was on, you know, Chris Kattan was in some very funny sketches. Okay. Chris Kattan was pretty good on the show. Of course, he's Monkey Boy, you know, I mean, he's eating the apples and stuff. You laughed. It was the same thing every time. You laughed. Let's not rewrite history here. We all laughed at Monkey Boy. And Mango.
I left the monkey bone.
Remember, how about this? How based and red-pilled is this? Mango, the joke was, look at him, he's gay. Now, of course, that's also the joke of Chris Kattan's life, not just the sketches he's in. And then there's another sketch he was in. I used to quote this when I was a kid all the time. He did a parody of the Christopher Lowell show. None of you know what that is, but I do. I actually gain a lot of inspiration from the Christopher Lowell show. Okay, because when I was a kid,
see it.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. When I was a kid, my mom would watch the Christopher Lowell show. So I'd come home from school and that would be on, and she'd be watching it. They'd be playing 2 episodes in a row of Lowell, and Christopher Lowell was this bearded, bald guy, and he was gay as the day is long. Okay, so this sketch he did was also just, hey, look at the gay guy, and the entire bit of the sketch is them just going, and we used to do that all the time as kids. My friend Michael and I, we would do it because he also saw the Christopher. I think he just watched the Christopher Lowell show on his own. I think there's some questions still to be had about Michael and his feelings on Lowell. It was just this flamboyant, campy, gay guy. I don't even know what the point of the show was. I think he taught you how to decorate a table or something. He just made like a really nice lantern. Look at this. I made a nice lantern. Isn't that great? And then the women it was like Ellen before Ellen, but with a guy. Which some would say is the same thing, actually. So, point is, he did a whole thing. I liked Chris Kattan on the show. I hated Chris Parnell. Hated him. He stunk. Ooh, boy. He was in some sketches I loved. He was in a lot of sketches I loved, but he was always the worst fucking part. Now, I look back at some of that and I go, was I wrong about this? But then I remember, no, in fact, I was proven right. Because Chris Parnell is the only cast member of SNL ever to just be fired from the show for not being funny. That's true. That's true. Now, he was hired back, which is also a first. They brought him back. Like, I don't know why. I guess everybody else was like, that's mean. You just fired him for not being fucking funny at all. And Lorne Michaels was like, I'm Dr. Evil. I was about to do the Lorne McDonald's. What's his name? Lorne McDonald's. Lorne Michaels. I was about to do the impression, and then I realized how embarrassing that would be, so I bailed. I think he was probably just like, yeah, he stinks. I think Lorne Michaels was just like me. He was watching these sketches and going, this guy sucks. And then all of his friends, Chris Parnell, he was on 30 Rock after this and everything. All of them liked him for some reason. All the other guys there liked him. So they got Lorne to rehire. This is true. You can just look this up. Chris was fired for being unfunny. I feel like I was vindicated entirely. And then when they brought him back, I felt like I was betrayed. So to see that Chris Parnell was on this terrible fucking podcast with Kattan, I was delighted. And sure enough, it's this is exactly what you need to see in order to understand what's going on this show. Okay? There's a little bit of video that we've got from this show. Let's
going
check
back.
it out. Oh boy, goes right into it. Okay, so here's Parnell, here's Kattan. Now, of course, they were both in probably the most famous sketch of all time from SNL, the cowbell sketch. Watch this. This is so great.
To the more cowbell sketch, wasn't it you and Will that wrote the sketch?
No, that was all Will.
Yeah. Hey, so I can't get Will Ferrell on this terrible podcast because, he's actually famous. He's like for real famous and good and funny.
Doing movies and
he's
stuff,
he's a little bit busy touring the country with his trans friend right now. That's a real thing. Look that up. So he's like, he just decided in his head, like Chris Parnell is like one of the random people that's in the sketch. They just needed guys to fill out the band for the cowbell sketch. And he's like, yeah, you wrote that, right? No. And they uploaded this. Because Chris Parnell never did anything. They fired him for being so it's the two. I want to say the two most unfunny dudes from SNL, but again, Chris Kattan was funny on it, and then he started morphing. He went into his cocoon, and he came out this hideous creature.
I would love to take some credit, but that's all Will. Yeah.
Okay, because I know you guys shared an office.
We did, yeah. He and Jerry Collins and I shared an office.
You guys shared an office, so that's sort of
I'm
like.
sure half the fucking the people on SNL shared a bathroom. Does that mean that they all wrote shit together
They all shared a floor at 30 Rock as well. Yeah, they also I actually share the same air as some of them. So
my first year on the show. Maybe first.
In a lot of ways, I wrote the more cowbell sketch when you think about it.
2 years. We called it the Gentleman's Quarters.
That's right.
We kept a bottle of scotch in there that we would have a drink of after.
He's doing this from a recording booth, by the way, for like voiceovers and stuff. So he's got his little booth that he probably does all the Rick and Marty stuff from his own recording booth in his house.
Read-throughs on Wednesdays. And one of the here's a great SNL memory for me.
Here we go. Okay. So that was a terrible start. We uploaded it anyway, but we're going to save it. Parnell's got a story.
Sure. Yeah.
When Ben Stiller hosted, he was working on this movie at the time, and Brooke Shields was in it. So Brooke came up to visit him at the offices on Tuesday night, on writing night.
Right.
And I think she'd been shooting that day, and she was like, does anybody have a drink? And I was like, well, in my office, we have a Would you like to accompany me? So I took Brooke Shields to my office and gave her
See, I
some
don't want to
scotch.
alarm you, but Chris Kattan hasn't blinked for over a minute.
All right, you're not alarming. All right, shut up. So he's got Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields, when she's, as hot as can be, he's taking her back to the office.
Nothing happened at all, but that was pretty freaking thrilling.
All right. So the story. So did you write the greatest sketch on SNL of all time? No. But okay. Well, anything good happen? Nothing. Okay. Great clip. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, here's Kattan. All right. Let's get into this. This is Kattan, and this is the Glassman project or whatever this is called, and we're going to watch the whole thing. But first, we're going to the Pizza Fund, so join it, podawful.pizza. You can watch the rest of this episode live over there at podawful.tv. In fact, let me set that up now. And update. Go to the Pizza Fund. There we go. So join. There we go. Okay, and bye, everybody. This is at the end of the free preview. It went way too long. I gave you way too much. Go check out the show. podawful.pizza.
Sorry, nigga. I'm Tom Gully, and you're watching Is This Live, the show.
This content right here
On the Pod Awful TV network.
is Pizza Fun's own.
podawful.pizza.
This shit is beefer. You're listening to Howdy Do with J. Crew.
podawful.pizza.
We got shooters in these streets.
Nigga.
Pod